but a fat, pig, selfish fool.
Was jetzt, Oberst?
Ever wonder if that movie scream was real? Forget the script. Sometimes, the most iconic film moments are pure reality. Actors break bones, get genuinely terrified,
Hey! Lay your palm flat on that tabletop!
or simply lose their composure.
Hey! I'm walking here! I'm walking here! Up yours, you son of a bitch! You don't talk me that way! Get out of here!
All while the cameras are still rolling. Today, we're showing unbelievable movie scenes where the actors weren't acting. And the unscripted magic created cinematic history. Django Unchained. In an action-packed sequence of Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained, Leonardo DiCaprio's role as the evil character, Calvin Candy, brought about a memorable incident in which physical pain occurred spontaneously without a script. While ranting about phrenology, DiCaprio hit the table so hard with his hand that he broke a crystal glass, causing it to cut into his palm. While DiCaprio suffered from bloody injuries to his hand, he stayed in character, incorporating them into the tense situation.
Lay your palm flat on that tabletop! If you lift those palms off that turtle shell tabletop...
DiCaprio made use of his wound as a prop, while raging on with even greater passion, even going as far as to smear blood across Kerry Washington's face. While DiCaprio did indeed receive real injuries, fake blood had to be applied later for safety reasons. The director decided to keep filming the scene despite DiCaprio's injuries, making sure to keep it due to its unique quality. When Tarantino shouted "cut," the entire cast stood up and applauded DiCaprio. Let's talk about our special topic. In this scene from the HBO series The White Lotus, Alexandra Daddario plays Rachel Patton, a woman struggling with insecurity and feeling objectified by her husband. The way she looks at herself in the mirror reflects her inner conflict and the pressure of being treated like a trophy wife. However, many viewers felt the moment looked so emotionally raw and natural that it didn't even feel like acting. Some people believe her expressions and body language made the scene seem completely real. What do you think? Was it simply brilliant acting, or did the moment feel unusually genuine? Drop your comments below. Die Hard. The memorable death of Hans Gruber from Die Hard can be traced to the authenticity of shock in the facial expression of Alan Rickman during the scene. For a more realistic depiction of his fall from Nakatomi Plaza, Rickman took a 40-foot fall onto an airbag himself. Despite reluctance, he understood the importance of having an authentic reaction in order for the scene to carry weight.
And it was being dropped from about 40 feet, as I recall, and of course this was in the days of...
The memorable look of terror came about from a trick played by the stunt team on Rickman. It turns out that Rickman was told he would have 3 counts before being released, but the team let go at 1, thus avoiding mental preparations from Rickman. The result was an honest-to-goodness gasp in shock from a sudden fall without any form of mental preparation from Rickman. Shot at 270 frames per second, it is easy to see how this trick made the scene all the more memorable. The 40-year-old virgin. One of the most hilarious scenes in The 40-Year-Old Virgin is chest waxing that Steve Carell experienced for real. The actor did not want any prosthetics and went through waxing because he believed that only a real reaction can help him make a joke out of pain. In order to document the unique experience, 5 cameras were required for shooting because the hair cannot be put back to its place after waxing.
They had about 5 cameras set up because once he got waxed, you couldn't do it again.
The result included sweating, bleeding, and even yelling like, "Kelly Clarkson!" since those reactions were a natural response to pain. The fact that the actress who performed the procedure was not a professional added another element of disorder. In addition, the reactions of Steve Carell's co-stars, who were shocked by the scene, made their roles more believable. It seems that such an unusual procedure affected Carell for life because it takes a long time for his hair to grow again. Alien. Chestburster, as seen in Ridley Scott's Alien film, is a classic in practical horror thanks to the actors' natural reactions caused by genuine shock. Although the actors were aware that there was going to be a creature bursting out of Kane's body, the filmmaker chose not to reveal the mechanism behind it for an honest and unpolished reaction. The filmmakers spent countless hours setting up pumps and animal innards under the prosthetic torso unseen to anyone else on set.
We were working it out, and I was lying there with the body out here somewhere.
Upon filming, the abrupt nature of the creature's appearance combined with the amount of blood had everyone stunned in horror. Veronica Cartwright infamously collapsed back onto the floor, shocked when she got doused with blood, while the remaining cast members, Sigourney included, showed their disgust over the whole ordeal. The live puppetry made use of without any CG. I was able to elicit an authentic response that could not be faked through scripted performance alone. Saving Private Ryan. Saving Private Ryan, directed by Steven Spielberg, has many emotional scenes, all but one of which was scripted by the director. In one particular scene, Private James Ryan, played by Matt Damon, tells a personal story to Captain Miller, Tom Hanks, about his brothers and a girl in a barn.
Picture a girl who just took a nosedive from the ugly tree and hit every branch coming down.
It is worth noting that the monologue of the soldier was ad-libbed by Matt Damon when Spielberg suggested the actor come up with some moments in character. The fact that Spielberg kept this unplanned dialogue was due to Hanks's genuine reaction. Since Hanks did not know what Ryan would say, he was listening and reacting to the story, without the necessity of acting along the lines of any script. The spontaneity and naturalness of their conversation added authenticity to the scene, contrasting the horrific reality of battle and bringing back the reminder of the humanity hidden behind all the chaos of the war. The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. However, there is a part from the movie that turned out to be one of the most famous examples of unplanned physical pain suffered by the actor during the shooting. During filming of the scene when Aragorn thinks that Merry and Pippin are dead, Viggo Mortensen kicked the rather massive Uruk-hai helmet in anger. As a result, on the fourth take, he so forcefully hit the metal prop that he broke 2 toes. It was not an act that made him scream and fall down.
We try to kick the helmet as close as possible to the lens because it'll look great if it just like flies past us.
However, the actor did not give up playing his role, but took advantage of this physical pain and continued his performance. Peter Jackson was unaware of the accident, and so he just decided to keep filming, believing that his actor had reached a new level of performance. Nevertheless, this broken toe take was used by him because of its authenticity. Midnight Cowboy. What may well have been one of the most famous lines uttered in the movies resulted from a close call while filming the movie in a guerrilla style, without any money for closing off the streets. With only hidden cameras, Hoffman and Voight had to navigate the city traffic in order to capture the film. It was at the junction of 58th Street and 6th Avenue that the scene took place when a taxi ran a red light and nearly collided with Hoffman. The classic outburst, "I'm walking here," as Hoffman stated, was an authentic reaction of fear and surprise.
I'm walking here! I'm walking here!
Since Hoffman realized that the shot could be ruined, he decided to remain in character and pounded on the taxi hood. The rest was taken up by the startled Voight, who completed the sequence of shots without stopping the action. It is safe to say that there could not have been a better way to depict the roughness of life in New York during those times. The Blair Witch Project. The sheer fear portrayed in the Blair Witch Project came out of an attempt at making a psychological thriller that would be filmed using a new technique that valued authenticity over skill in acting. The two directors, Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez, put the actors in the Maryland forest with nothing more than a GPS device. The GPS was treated like unseen antagonists. The process used here was known as a method, whereby the actors were left unaware of how the plot unfolded, and they underwent unpredictable harassment at night.
Can't be too careful.
Night terrors occurred due to exhaustion and paranoid sleep deprivation. The crew would camp outside the tents, where they made eerie sounds or played tapes of kids laughing. The irritation was also intensified by having the directors starve their actors of food. By the time the actors reached the famous confession scene, they were already scared and tired.
Same thing, only darker.
Yeah, pretty much.
Notes would be provided daily to the actors that pitted them against one another. The Usual Suspects. The iconic scene of lining up in The Usual Suspects was initially meant to be an intense one. However, it turned out to be funny because of the absence of professionalism among the actors. Bryan Singer, who directed the movie, intended for the actors to give their lines in a threatening manner, but he could not manage it, as the actors kept laughing during the shooting, which took place on that day. The real reactions shown in the movie were caused by the fact that the actors found it hard to stop laughing during the filming. In fact, Singer began with anger because of the actors' behavior. However, in the end, he decided that the ironic approach suited the characters more and helped to portray them as experienced criminals who did not take anyone's threats seriously. Through the use of the non-professional footage, the director managed to add a touch of authenticity to the mystery. The Silence of the Lambs. Among some of the most shocking sounds in films is an accidental innovation made by Anthony Hopkins to horrify Jodie Foster and other members of the cast with the predatory attitude of Hannibal Lecter. When he was saying fava beans and a nice Chianti, he was doing the characteristic hissing sound that underlined Lecter's bestial nature. It was a spontaneous reaction from Foster to a completely unscripted sound. Given her initial unease about Hopkins' intense preparations for the role, the hissing sound created by him horrified her, as it reminded her of the reptile inside Lecter's refined and civilized body. The director understood that the performance was much better than a mere pause, which is why he included it in the movie. The hissing sound became one of the major auditory motifs used throughout the entire film, signifying animal instincts of Lecter. If you are watching, please subscribe our channel and hit the like button. Rocky 1? What if I told you the most painful part of the Rocky training montage wasn't the freezing cold, but the lasting physical toll on Sylvester Stallone? To capture the movie's gritty atmosphere, Stallone spent roughly 8 hours in a real Philadelphia meat locker punching frozen cow carcasses. Because the beef was frozen solid, the impact was equivalent to punching a stone wall. During the shoot, Stallone struck the meat with such force that he fractured a knuckle, an injury known in medicine as a boxer's fracture. The force of the impact was so intense that it displaced the bone, pushing the knuckle back into his hand. Because he continued to film and didn't seek immediate corrective surgery, the injury healed improperly. Today, if you see him make a fist, his knuckles on that hand appear permanently flattened and level due to the compacted bone and scar tissue. Stallone has since stated that the injury was a badge of honor, choosing the authenticity of the shot over his own physical well-being. It wasn't movie magic, it was a real-life injury that remains visible on his body decades later. Full Metal Jacket. For Full Metal Jacket, the script was secondary to real-world psychological warfare. R. Lee Ermey, a former Marine drill instructor, was originally a technical advisor.
Who's the slimy little communist shit twinkle-toed cocksucker down here who just signed his own death warrant?
He won the role after submitting a tape of himself, shouting insults for 15 minutes without repetition. Stanley Kubrick, usually a perfectionist who controlled every word, granted Ermey rare autonomy. Approximately 50% of his dialogue was improvised or self-written, as Kubrick found Ermey's authentic military vocabulary superior to the screenplay. To ensure genuine fear, Ermey avoided the cast-off camera, maintaining a hostile distance. When filming, his relentless barrage was often heard by the actors for the first time.
What's your name, fat body?
Sir, Leonard Lawrence, sir.
Lawrence what, of Arabia?
Their trembling bodies and shocked expressions weren't just acting. They were reflexive responses to a man professionally trained to break human will. By recreating the actual atmosphere of Paris Island, Ermey turned a movie set into a genuine confrontation, capturing a level of intensity no rehearsed script could replicate. The Godfather. Sometimes the most iconic props aren't in the script, they just wander onto the set. In the opening of The Godfather, Vito Corleone famously cradles a gray cat, an addition that was never planned. Director Francis Ford Coppola found the stray wandering the Film d'Ore studio lot in Rome and placed it in Marlon Brando's arms right before the cameras rolled. The cat was so content that its purring became thunderous, masking Brando's quiet dialogue. The audio was so muffled that the crew feared the scene was ruined, eventually requiring Brando's lines to be re-recorded, looped, in post-production. This spontaneous choice created a brilliant character contrast, a ruthless mob boss dealing out justice while gently stroking a stray.
You were afraid to be in my bed. I didn't want to get into trouble.
What started as a director's whim became a cinematic masterpiece, proving that the most human moments in film are often the ones that weren't invited. Pretty Woman. In Pretty Woman, one of the 1990s most iconic romantic moments was actually an unscripted prank. During the scene where Edward presents Vivian with a diamond necklace, Richard Gere unexpectedly snapped the jewelry box shut on Julia Roberts' fingers. The reaction, Roberts' sharp gasp followed by a burst of infectious laughter, was completely genuine. Director Gary Marshall later revealed the prank was a deliberate attempt to wake up a tired Roberts, who had been out late the night before and was struggling to keep her energy up during the late-night filming. Though intended only as a gag for the gag reel, Marshall realized the moment perfectly captured the burgeoning chemistry between the two characters.
Well, nothing else is going to fit into this dress, I'll tell you that.
Maybe something in this box. I don't want you to get too excited. It's only on loan.
He made the last-minute decision to keep it in the final edit. What began as a behind-the-scenes joke became the defining image of the film's charm, proving that authenticity often outshines the script. Jaws. In Jaws, when Chief Brody first sees the Great White, his reaction wasn't scripted. It was a sarcastic jab at a disastrous production. Roy Scheider's iconic line, "You're gonna need a bigger boat," originated as a running joke among the crew. The production was plagued by technical failures and logistical nightmares.
Slow ahead. I can go slow ahead. Come on down and chump some.
The crew's support barge, the SS Garage Sail, was notoriously too small to stabilize the heavy equipment and the temperamental mechanical shark. Whenever a generator blew or a crisis occurred, the catchphrase, "You're gonna need a bigger boat," became the standard sarcastic refrain. Scheider ad-libbed the line in several scenes, but the take after his first shock at seeing the shark stuck. Editor Verna Fields and Steven Spielberg realized the line perfectly captured Brody's paralyzing realization of the shark's true scale. A frustrated inside joke became cinema's most famous ad-lib, proving that real-life production stress can create movie gold. The Princess Diaries. In The Princess Diaries, one of Mia Thermopolis' most relatable moments was a literal accident. While filming on wet bleachers at a San Francisco high school, director Gary Marshall was racing to beat the setting sun to capture pipe, his term for essential plot exposition.
Can't tell anyone, not even Michael, especially not Michael, but you are sworn to secrecy. Oh, come on, secret handshake.
To save time, he had Anne Hathaway and Heather Matarazzo walk and talk quickly across the top row. The metal was slick from a recent rain, causing Hathaway to lose her footing and fall abruptly through the bleacher seats. Rather than stopping, Hathaway and Matarazzo stayed in character, laughing as they continued their dialogue. Marshall loved the mistake, realizing it perfectly illustrated Mia's established clumsiness. He kept the blunder in the final cut, later noting that some of the best character beats come from unplanned reality. This unintentional fall became a defining moment for the character, proving that sometimes a mistake is more regal than a script. Foxcatcher. Some actors play a role, but Channing Tatum played one. In the 2014 drama Foxcatcher, Channing Tatum's portrayal of Mark Schultz reached a visceral breaking point that went dangerously off script. During a hotel room meltdown, the script simply called for Tatum to show self-loathing while looking in a mirror. However, fueled by the character's intense psychological pressure, Tatum bypassed the planned performance. He violently headbutted the mirror 3 times. Though the glass was covered in a protective plastic film, Tatum hit it with such force that he shattered the mirror and the drywall behind it. The impact sliced his forehead, drawing real blood. Despite the physical shock and a gash that would later require stitches, Tatum never broke character. Director Bennett Miller kept the cameras rolling, capturing a moment of genuine collapse. The resulting footage provided the film's most haunting scene, proving that the most powerful performances often come at a spontaneous, painful price. Dazed and Confused. Matthew McConaughey wasn't even supposed to be in the shot when he changed cinema history forever. In 1993's Dazed and Confused, Matthew McConaughey transformed a bit into cinema history through pure improvisation. On his first night of filming, McConaughey was unexpectedly added to a drive-through scene that wasn't in his script. To find his character, Wooderson, he mentally identified 4 pillars: his car, rock and roll, and women. As he pulled up to film, he realized he had Ted Nugent on the 8-track, a joint ready, and his car. But he hadn't gotten the girl yet. Seeing co-star Marissa Ribisi, he realized the 4th pillar was in sight. He leaned out and let slip, "All right, all right, all right."
All right, all right, all right.
One for each of the 3 things he already had. The line was inspired by the rhythmic repetitions he'd heard on a Live Doors album. What began as a nervous newcomer's way of finding his groove became a career-defining mantra and an enduring symbol of laid-back cool. Fight Club. David Fincher, the director of Fight Club, understood that if he wanted the real feeling of the film, he would have to be a traitor to his main character. The script called for Edward Norton to strike Brad Pitt with a fake blow to the shoulder, but moments before the cameras rolled, Fincher pulled Norton aside and whispered a different command. "Hit him in the ear!" The result was a cinematic ambush. Norton delivered a sharp, genuine blow directly to Pitt's ear, catching him completely off guard. Pitt's wincing reaction and his pained cry of, "You hit me in the ear," were 100% authentic.
By the ear, man.
It up.
Hit me in the ear.
If you look closely, you can even see Norton ducking his head to hide a smirk at Pitt's genuine shock. By sabotaging the choreography, Fincher turned a staged fight into a legendary moment of real-time pain and dark comedy. Bad Boys 2. A setup that was supposed to scare someone went too far. In Bad Boys 2, newcomer Dennis Green, who played Reggie, walked onto a set where the hostility was very real. To ensure Green's terror was authentic, director Michael Bay forbade him from making eye contact with Martin Lawrence, who remained a menacing character off-camera to build genuine tension. When the cameras rolled, the ambush intensified. Green wasn't prepared for Will Smith to shove a handgun inches from his face, or for the actors to launch into an aggressive, unscripted barrage of threats.
Why you putting all my business in the street? Why you putting all... I just got out of jail and I ain't going back.
The wide-eyed stuttering and physical trembling weren't acting. They were the panicked reactions of a young man caught in a high-pressure setup.
Acting all scared. Nigga, you ain't never seen a gun before? Man, stop pointing the gun at the boy, man. Nigga, look.
By sabotaging Green's comfort, Bay captured a masterclass in uncomfortable comedy. The Reggie scene remains iconic because the boy on screen wasn't playing a part, he was genuinely surviving the set. That is a wrap on 20 times the script went out the window and reality took over. It is wild how a broken toe or a stray cat can turn a meh into total cinematic gold. Which of these unscripted moments blew your mind the most? Drop a comment below and let us know. If you enjoyed this trip behind the scenes, make sure to hit that like button.